Welcome back to the program Sumo Elite. I'm Brendan Ike, the face of American English sumo commentary, and it's with a heavy heart that I have to report to you. Unfortunately, Neil the Deal Jenkins, the Brain Supreme, and Zachary, the Serbian Sledgehammer Petrovic, have been temporarily banned by the board of directors for having a fight in the locker room last night after the show. I'm not allowed to, because it was an unsanctioned fight, reveal the results, but pending further investigation, they've both been temporarily suspended. I'll be doing the show alone tonight, joined with Chris, our producer, Mean Gene Rinchik. We just missed a few fights. Oho was the only one we really had a horse in the race.
And this last one was pretty impressive. He threw him pretty well off the doyo.
Oh, and Ishiura. It was Kotoeko versus Sadanumi just now. Looks like Kotoeko won. Can we get a little volume on the stream?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see here.
そうですね。毎日一進一退なわけですもんね。琴恵光は勝って2敗を守っています。
This is a little far from me.
アベマ大相撲ライブ初日中日です。8日目を迎えています。照ノ富士に勝ったベテランの玉鷲なんですが、今日はお互い新郎の一番ですね。北勝富士との対戦、午後5時20分頃です。
Oh, yeah, would you?
I see the sprints have started upstairs. Right on cue.
Takara Lieben. No, what is it? That is. Ishiura lost to Wakamoto Haru by Hataki Komi, slap down. And our next fight of the night is Tochinoshin versus Teratsuyoshi. So that's Zach versus Chris. Or I mean, Neil. Neil's Teratsuyoshi, Zach's Tochinoshin. Can I get a little less on the stream now?
It's like over here, the commercials are louder.
Somehow. Oh, is that the...
Yeah, they do that same. I guess it's all over the world.
6, got it.
Yeah. And also... What do you guys do?
Tochinoshin, where's the Georgians at?
Oh yeah, this would be Zach's favorite, right?
That's right. A lot of our viewers' favorites.
Thank you. Thanks. I love the little interlude. Thanks. Much appreciated.
My whole history on YouTube right now is Roddy Piper interviews, Junkyard Dog interviews and stuff.
The problem is then it starts only suggesting that to you from now on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it
right
becomes
now
like a black hole of algorithmic fuckery.
How do I find my videos? I want to get in the chat.
Just search the channel.
You know what? I'll do it on my phone.
Don't go to the
really
channel.
Want is the Tochinoshin head-to-head with Teratsuyoshi is 2-4, which is kind of surprising given their difference in size. But Teratsuyoshi showed up on the scene around the same time Tochinoshin in the purple belt injured himself real good. Of course, he's had a kind of a long history of injury, but he was an Ozeki, and he's slow, which is the second highest rank. He was a champion, a tournament-winning champion, and he started a descent down the Banzuke, his sort of downfall, if you will. And then the smaller man on the right, Teratsuyoshi, was on his way up.
That's a significant difference in height, if not weight. I mean,
oh, these two, yeah.
Different. You?
Yeah, some sort of training Undertaker video.
Alright, let's see. Well, never mind.
Teratsuyoshi thrives on making use of how short he is. He has been able to get a nice low stance and drive people back quite a bit, which the Deal loves out of him, but he also tries some tricky shit because he kind of has to sometimes.
By the way, what's up, Mr. Lamborghini? Thanks for joining us again tonight. We appreciate it. Stop watching Attitude Era promos, he said.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is.
Is he the only Georgian in the top, like, 2 divisions?
He is now, but there used to be another guy called Gagamaru, and there's been other guys, I believe, before my time. You know, they say one hand washes the other, but they both wash the face, baby. Toshinoshin's probably going to want to get a nice tight inside grip, which means I think we're likely to see Terutsuyoshi do some tricky shit. He has a nice, strong, straight-ahead charge, right? With the size disadvantage. Yeah. Toshinoshin's one guy he can't, I think, afford to let get a grip.
I swear he's trying to outdo himself each night, I think.
Yeah, well, he gets as much as he can. You can actually watch sometimes a bunch of it falls off the sides.
Yeah.
So it's literally, he's learning how to max it out. Get the salt to grip itself a little bit.
He's the guy that party fouls.
Constantly.
Constant party foul. Way too much spillage. Let's see.
I know
that's a younger looking Gyoji than usual, huh?
Yeah, every time this happens, we point that out. Well, how would you call that color scheme? Well, the fan's up. CHANKO. He locked up anyway, but he won't let him get on the belt. Tochinoshin's way over his feet, but he's got the right arm locked up tight, and he's underneath Terutsuyoshi's other arm, so he can't make use of it. Good night, Irene.
Once he had the belt, huh?
Whew, feels good to see Tochi win one.
It's been a bit.
Digging his way out of the hole.
Well, does that
of course,
bring him,
now
that
that's
him even, right?
He wasn't in a very deep hole, but he really can't afford to do any worse.
That brings him, what, to 500? 4-4?
That's right, yeah. Tochinoshin no Kachi is right. Kachi means win.
I mean, that's a... did you see what the weights are on these guys? It's got to be one of the biggest disparities I've seen.
Tremendous difference, I'm sure. Well, I think the smaller guys are around 250.
And Tochi's got to be, what, around 4?
Yeah, upper 3s for sure. Let's see. 182.
Times 2.2.
We have some metric users in the room, but they're also too stupid to do imperial. So none of us. 400.
Yeah, right.
Tochi weighs in at 400.
I wonder how tall is he? He's a pretty tall guy compared to
191.
The average
centimeters.
See, that's where I truly can't do it. That's got to be. Let's see.
6'2.5".
I would have thought he was taller given the look, but I guess that's a comparison to
6'2", 400 pounds. Looks pretty big. What do you say, Brian? 165 kilos is what?
That's gotta be 3.
Well, he's 182 kilograms.
You know, I'd be like, that's gonna be 370, 375, something.
No, it's a 400 almost. It's 401 almost exactly.
I knew a guy that got up to that size once, but he certainly wasn't quite as agile.
Right. Well, yeah, most of that's muscle on Tochi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like they have a lot of fat on top, but they're brick underneath. They trained hard.
Yeah, and a lot of their fat is on the surface.
Yeah, they're just carrying it like what's it called? Padding, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a utility belly, I like to call it.
Yeah, it obviously makes them harder to train. That's good. If you're 400 pounds and you're training, you're lifting heavy weights, you're training a certain way and eating a certain way. You don't put on fat, you put on mass, but it's more strength.
A lot of them have a hard time gaining weight because of how much they work out, yeah.
Well, they eat a specific diet too, right, to help them gain?
They eat CHANKO.
Yeah.
CHANKO is the soup they eat.
We should make one night as a part of the show.
Yeah, one of these nights we should have everyone in do a big CHANKO hot pot. We've been talking about that for a while. Definitely in May when we do baseball.
What's what? What goes in it? I don't know. You'd have to. Clarify.
Tons of stuff goes in it. Chanko is it's mostly like.
It's got to be good if it gets them like this.
It's a fatty broth, and it's tons of protein. So there's like cuts of fish, pork, chicken, beef. They make these chicken
like
meatballs.
Alternatively,
shrimp,
or all in one?
Kind of all at once, but I think they also have trays of stuff they can heat up in it. It depends. They make, I mean, obviously huge vats of it. There's bok choy, Napa cabbage, daikon radish, carrots.
It's pretty healthy if you don't eat probably as much as they have to.
Yeah. Oh, right. And they eat many, many bowls of it. And if you're the higher rank you are, the early you are in the serving. So all your ingredients are fresher and like less wilted,
More
and you get better cuts of things.
Yeah.
And then the guys who go last actually have to serve it to them the whole time. So you serve all the best. You have to watch all the best cuts go away to the upper wrestlers, and then try to save yourself a little something at the bottom of the pot.
It's like a healthy college fraternity. Like it's the same like hierarchy.
Yeah.
Something, but instead of doing push-ups in a frozen
Sumo
river,
fraternities, I think, actually do exist at the like high school and college level. To a lesser extent, I mean, I don't think there is Greek.
Sumo house party.
Sumo, yeah, exactly.
You can't really do a keg stand.
A lot of these guys are college yokozunas that then go pro after college.
It's a collegiate sport, like fully like.
Yeah, it's a full. I mean, they even have whole high schools that are devoted to it because they specialize a lot younger in Japan. Saitama Sakae is like one of the really famous ones, and some of them have character in their name, like Dai A Show. It's the same A from Sakae High School.
Same A?
EI, the phoneme, Dai A Show, Sakae A. That character, that kanji, is the same one, and it's a reference to that great sumo high school.
Oh, like the letter has a correspondence? Oh,
yeah, they use the same character for that sound in both. That's often how the names are derived.
It's like an Ian Insight. So, yeah, I didn't know that they did it at like the high school collegiate level before. I mean, I knew some of the guys trained at that age, but I thought that's because they were involved in like
every level, every age.
The not the grooming for it, but like not like a minor league, but I thought it was all through the organization that does it.
Right, correct. It's not. The pro wrestling or Ozumo, Grand Sumo is one body, but then there's tons of amateur. What do you call them? Like grade school.
Where you cut your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Children's sumo, and that's somehow some of these guys got scouted that way. There'll be sumo associations that go around and like watch kids play in the park, and then like try to recruit them from a very young age.
Depending on how that looks, that could be a different.
Yeah, Japan's got their own social contract, so they'll go out, and that's how Shodai got scouted. He was wrestling in the park with his friends.
They approach a woman. I was watching your son from afar.
When he was a kid,
and
they do. They'll go house to house sometimes. You got any big boys over here?
What weight would the kids be at like 16?
I don't know.
Well, I'll show you guys a really cool match where a little skinny kid beats a much bigger kid. But you know, some kids are just big naturally at a young age.
I mean, I knew a guy who was,
and some kids are very skilled. Fans up.
Well, let's see here.
Yeah, well,
a little false start.
American football, kids that try to be like professional American footballers and then they fail and they have so many injuries and fucked up ailments. Imagine how fucked up this is if you don't make it pro and you're fucking pre-diabetes.
Yeah, well, even if you do make it pro, sometimes your body crashes and burns long before anyone learns your name, because there's a lot of levels of this sport where you never even really see most of them. Only the top 2 divisions get any real recognition, and there's 6 of them.
But there's like sort of like a spiritual type element to it as well. So the pursuit's not just like,
here we go, fans.
Purely,
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. They both stepped out of the batter's box.
Big Tachiai. Miyagi knows what to do with it, but Chiyotai Ryu is determined to come back. The green belt, Chiyotai Ryu, is locking in. This is a long match for him. He usually burns out well before now, but Miyagi has what it takes to give it to him. Literally head to head. I think he's cooked, but it's fun to see it last this long. And he turns it around.
He still did. Wow. Maybe got a breather in the middle there.
Chiyotai Ryu.
That palm heel to the face split his lip, it looks like.
That's pretty common around the mid tournament. Dudes start bleeding out the eye holes and the noses and the teeth.
I didn't see the headbutt off the bat either.
Pretty common for both of these guys.
Right here, he catches a left right across the face pretty soon, I think.
Oh, yeah, right there.
I don't think that was the bad one. I think it comes up next. There. That's what I was looking at.
Even in super slow-mo, it was blurry.
But see, I do enjoy the ones where they kind of hand fight more so than just lock up. It's just more. I mean, I guess I feel like almost like if it was a casual UFC
when they
fan,
do that
if you don't
little
know the
wrist
nuance,
game.
you know, yeah. Well, yeah, because
There's still micro exchanges happening here,
course,
and if we
yeah.
watched it a few times, we could talk about it in depth. Like, just the little adjustments they're making is like waiting for the other guy to slip, especially how far they are leaned forward. Either one of them could go for a slap down if they tried.
just way over their own feet.
And he was waiting till Miyagiryu tried the slap before he made his pushing attack, which gave him the momentum he needed. It was actually like
he gave
pretty
him the
smart
extra
for him.
He gave him that little extra into the crowd.
Yeah,
and looked at him like he was gonna say.
Look back
shit.
at him like what?
Yeah. No, we saw the opposite of that the other time, where the guy kind of gave him a bit of the hug to stop him from going off the doyo. This was like the
the opposite.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Kind of really gave him a little extra there, you know.
I think it's proves a point when you can. We talk about this sometimes. Handle the guy so much that you don't have to push him off. You just kind of set him outside the ring like you're in total control.
That's more disrespectful.
It's certainly more embarrassing. At least when he pushes you off the extra little bit unnecessary, you can be like, "Fuck that guy. He did the wrong. You know, he didn't need to push me." But when he's really polite,
when they like sit down like a little bit, like a little child,
you can't even hate him. So that head-to-head was 9-10. Those guys have had each other's numbers for a while now.
I like the matches where you see that. I mean, there was the one the other day with the huge discrepancy. It was like 25-3.
Yeah, that was last night's match of the night, or final match. All right, the next match is Chiyomaru versus Aqua. He's beat him 5 times to 1, Chiyomaru. And this is your guy.
That's my boy.
Yeah, it is.
I do like him. I mean, even though I'm naturally rooting for Ura during his matches, I've come to actually be a fan of this guy now. I just have to learn more about him.
Oh, well, you'll definitely get to have Ura next tournament.
I just like, he's just a specimen.
Isn't he kind of just like exciting to watch? That's been the way
his
he's...
dimensions also are just like almost like...
Yeah.
There's certain lot of like symmetry to the guy.
We're talking about, if you don't know, Ura is one of the wrestlers in the top division who every fight basically he does is like fight of the night, sensational. Yeah. He's doing front flips. He's coming from behind dudes. He's picking up and throwing, jumping into the audience. He's getting knocked out so bad he can't stand back up, and then comes back the next night to cripple the top dogs. Ura's a riot, so we'll point him out tonight when he comes on. Not that we have to. If you do know anything about sumo, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, like even his losses have been,
especially his losses, are
yeah, really
exciting. And he's facing off against Aqua, who's sort of a new guy. So Aqua on the right with the sort of brighter green belt hasn't really blown me away, and he's only 1-6, so he doesn't seem to know what to do in his own arena either. Take me out of the equation. He seems mixed up. Versus Chiyomaru, your boy with the slightly darker green belt on the left. This is a real belly off, though.
Yeah, really, they both. I mean, I still think my guy's got it because he's got that lift.
Yeah. Plus, look at his calves and his legs, way more developed.
Yes, true.
And his belly is more taut, which I tend to think is a good thing. He's keeping up with his Chanko.
And his face so much further lost in the head than the other.
Yeah, deep inside of there.
Like there's like a person. His face is awash in a sea of head and neck. And it's great.
That's how I want to die.
I can think of worse ways.
On a sunny day. 5-1. You have to imagine this is an easy snack for your guy.
Oh, what career?
All time, yeah. Your dude's 5-1 against Aqua.
I guess any given day, right? Things can happen. They bring out the.
Hey, Georgia. Welcome back to the chat, Sumo Elite. We got a special episode of Face the Facts with me, Ike Turner, Brendan Eisenhower, and we're tuning in for Chiyomaru versus Aqua. CHANKO.
Oh, I don't know if you
big start, low stance from Aqua, but he stands up to go for a mutual supari, some overhand slaps. I'm not sure what that is.
Real heavy slaps.
Chiyomaru's just sort of responding, dissembling, trying to get a grip, keeping an eye on the edge, and the big drive all the way across the doyo isn't enough. They separate again. Another pulling attack from Chiyomaru, and he recovers again.
Oh,
now he's behind Aqua.
Oof, okay.
And he puts it to him.
So as soon as he got that side turned around, he's pretty much over, right?
That's usually death, yeah.
He catch an injury here. He looks like he's a bit slow and shook up. Doesn't seem injured, though. It seemed like he almost... did he get Chiyomaru mad in the middle of that? It seemed like he went from kind of like, all right, I'm doing this, to like, now I'm not.
I think when he drove him all the way back left to right across the doyo and his feet slid and he had the palm to the face and everything.
It looked like it became personal almost. How would they be contesting this as to who?
Oh, it could be hair pull or, some...
Well, one thing he did that I hadn't seen prior is in a pulling attack, he came over the top of the head like a hockey jersey grab in a fight almost.
They might call it a hair pull, yeah.
I don't think he grabbed the hair, though. It would have been incidental, like the arm.
It's actually called raking, and it's even if it's not a proper grip, if your fingers get caught up in the hair, that's part of why they do it like that still, like so, just so, because you can tell if it's been disturbed if it comes down to it. Look at the guy's hair, and it's all wrenched up at the end. It's like, okay, well, something happened.
Yeah, see, on one of these, I don't think it was
maybe
this one.
Right. Yeah, that's what they're probably gonna try to say is right there that he had a hand.
I guess I mean,
he did have his hand.
It was loose, but he did have him by that part of the head.
Yeah, although to say that's what won it for him is a little bit. Let's see what they say.
It's crazy.
Tochinoshin did win, chat. That's right.
Yes.
He looked good doing it. Of course, much smaller man, but he had a losing lifetime, so. While they figure out what happened here.
Let's see.
Silence.
Here, let me turn up a little for the announcement. They'll announce it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
ただいまの競技は千代丸の足が先に出ていないかどうかの確認であり、出ていませんでした。軍配通り千代丸の勝ちといたします。
I just heard his name, so he.
Yes,
good.
they said that the Goombay went to Chiyomaru, and it was correct. We didn't overturn it for the hair pull.
Cool. Happy.
Basically, I mean, I know some of the key phrases.
Well, yeah, you pick up what you need to.
Leg lock, unfortunately, the deal and Sledge have been temporarily suspended by the board of directors for an unsanctioned fight that broke out in the locker room last night. Pending further investigation.
But also, by the
we'll
way,
be facing the facts until further notice.
It seemed like somebody like I'm used to seeing a lot of the hand striking being like down the middle, like almost like palm heeled, like almost like you're punching but with an open hand. This was one of the first time where it looked like he was throwing overhand and hook type.
Yeah, right, like that haymaker.
Yeah, like wide swings. That was
which
is it legal? Because I thought it was unusual, but I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You can pretty much do whatever you want. You can't club both ears at the same time.
You mean like box the ears like a
right? Correct.
Like
but you can do one at a time. Exactly. Three Stooges.
I wouldn't think that would be a tactically sound maneuver anyway. It's one of those things that like looks good on paper maybe, but
there's a handful of things like that: eye gouging, hair pulling, kicking above the belt, punching with a closed fist.
Well, sure.
But pretty much everything else, up to and including killing the guy, is legal as long as you do it in a way that's with an open hand or you didn't.
Well, yeah, like I saw somebody again. You probably remember better than me, but there was one where someone got kind of like a prolonged like throttle hold on the guy's throat, and I was like, oh, I thought you could slap to the neck, but I didn't know you could like get a grip.
Yeah, you can Darth Vader people if you can get onto them like that, and they do. It's a great way to
just kind of take their mind away from the fight.
Straighten the back of the legs and the spine, you know, when they lean back, and then pop them in the belly. It's high-low. It's 50-50 if you play fighter games, or head body if you fight people in real life.
Has there ever been, and I don't mean a submission like a leg lock like a jiu-jitsu, but has there ever, can someone tap out because they know they're injured and some guy hasn't, like, is there
they could, but they wouldn't, I think.
Oh.
I've definitely seen guys in like over the head guillotine, like the guy gets really low and then the bigger guy will just throw him in a headlock.
That's kind of funny.
And they just deal with it. I've never seen, maybe, I mean, if the deal was here, he might be able to hit us with like, actually in 2001.
Yeah. He really has all the data.
Yep.
Like, I used to be a guy who remembered a lot, but my lord.
Let's see here.
Who is... Do you have who's up next on the...
I do have who's up next.
Thingy?
It's Shimano Umi, or Shimanumi, versus Takara Fuji, which is your guy. So we're back-to-back Chris fights. Shimanumi is on the left, and Takara Fuji is on the right.
See, now that I see that, now that I'm reminded of the name Shimanumi, I see where Zach got Shermaruni. but the fact that it was for Ichinojo takes it right back down.
Totally, yeah. And he's like, I think I was trying to say Shimanumi, and I'm like, even if that was the case,
no, I could forgive that. But Ichinojo, I'm like,
it's like if Sammy Sosa steps up to bat and you go, "Who we got? Derek Jeter."
Yeah.
Like even it's like it doesn't matter. It's still not.
Has anyone seen? By the way, anyone in the chat, have any of you seen like a post-retirement photo of Sammy Sosa? He does not have vitiligo, but has gone like full Michael Jackson. Like he looks like a vampire now.
Weird.
I encourage anyone to
spending his time in the north.
Glance at that.
Okay.
Yeah, like the
Shimanumi. They're 4-6 all time in favor of your guys. So another light snack, a little more competitive.
4-6. I wouldn't say that's too. I mean, that's pretty.
No, but I bet Takara Fuji's got it.
He looks like he has the better positioning here.
Let's get that nice grip. He's not going to get slapped down, so that's safe for him. It's going to get him a chance to toe.
Like he's in the top position, kind of.
Yeah, he's just also really good with his leg work. So.
Oh no, good.
See, it's
glad he recovered
usually
that.
Death.
He recovered twice on that.
Did a full 360 on him and turned it around for a slap down. See, Takara Fuji is like the consummate strongman technical wrestler. He's not flashy, but he does basically nothing wrong.
But I mean, given what I don't know what the reason would be for it, but he seemed a bit more like there's some guys who definitely couldn't move with the agility that he just did.
Right, exactly.
You know,
I mean, look how much muscle he is.
Yeah.
There's hardly any. You can't call him a fat guy.
Yeah, he's got traps and everything, so that's pretty serious.
His legs too.
Oh,
Look,
yeah,
he's
the
like
definition is serious. Yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of them have that leg, just you don't see it.
You're right, but with him you do. So
but the first spin was impressive. I figured, okay, he got to escape from that, but he's going to get taken now.
Well, he's got all the leverage here because if Shimanumi tries to stand up, he's got his hand under the belt, and he can kind of fish hook him, throw him off to the side, which is what he tries to do there.
But that was...
And he gets a little slap behind him, like he's playing with a dog in the yard. He's in total control.
Yeah,
the brilliant right-hand slap on the ass to keep the momentum going for Shimanumi, so he had time too. Plus, it propelled him into his own spin. Yeah,
graceful. Yeah,
he's a great pick, and not someone you ever really getting talked about, except for here on CHANKO.
Well, I mean, 6-2 is a good. I mean, obviously he's not like top 2, but that's got to be in the top 5-10% of guys so far this tournament. 6-2 record.
Yeah, that's.
I know there's 1-8-0.
Oh yeah, no, he's in the chase group.
Yeah,
like he's. Realistically, if a couple small things happen this week, he could win the tournament still. He's definitely. Sure, yeah. I mean, he won't. I'll tell you that right now. But he's not damned like some of these guys. Like if you have a losing record at the end of the first week,
yeah, you're not looking to.
Chances are.
Do they have a fake audience behind them?
Yeah, they're green screened. And I suspect they're not even in the same room. Otherwise, why would they be so far apart?
I can guess that. No, but see, otherwise I think they'd put them together because I've produced people that are not in the same room and made them look like they are. And in that case, there's no reson to separate them. You just bump them up right next to each other. I think it's virtue
signaling because it's Japanese TV.
You know what? That's a very good point.
Sit 6 feet apart.
I didn't think of that. That's a good point.
You have to kind of think of everything Japan does as a psyop because like their people are so like we don't understand it fully because we don't have national identity like they do.
That's fair. Yeah,
but
we don't
being
have
Japanese really means something to them.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Being American means like Vietnam and Coca-Cola and Newports and I guess we have Nikes,
hot diggity dogs,
hot dogs, apple pie, Britney Spears, but they have like thousands of years of.
Yeah, like they have a very defined culture that has like a reason for it to be. Yeah,
we've got Ford F-150s.
I guess a pickup truck is a true actual piece of American culture because there's some stuff where it's just like, all right, someone else did this or that from another country, so we like it. But
yeah, I wonder.
I get a kick out of this that these guys are using like basically the same setup that we are.
Yeah,
except they're not on yeah. Like for those of us that only joined us for this tournament, usually we're in my studio, which obviously we still have some effect that's working here, but we try to keep it as clean as cleaned up as possible. But due to some acoustical restrictions, what's the best kind of a way to gussy up the problem?
Parameters.
Yeah, acoustic parameters that need to be maintained,
adhered to.
Yes, yeah, complied with. We have decided to
It'd
relocate
be more like
to where we are
with
here.
which we must comply.
Yes, yeah, indeed. But so here we are on the
8th day. We made it to the
CHANKO
halfway
House.
point.
This is our longest run of consecutive days, I feel like. We've actually had more than half full crew on most days.
It got to the point where we had basically everyone except like Ian.
No, he was in
crammed in. Well, no, I mean at once.
Physically at this key. It's like I have a big sofa, but I don't think it could abide 4.
First it wanes and then it waxes. Pay your taxes.
I would not.
Yeah.
Well, I remember a good story that a Japanese guy mentioned, and I don't remember what the context of the interview was, but he said it was alluding to like people kind of having what you said, a bit of a certain identity that's inherent to your culture.
Yeah.
Where he's like, in our culture, he was saying he was kind of jealous of the Western way of being able to try, and not just the way, but the almost virtue of trying and failing, trying and failing, trying and failing, trying and winning. He's like, over here, we just don't do that. If you try and you fail and it's very visible, obviously you're going to be any level of like not involved in it anymore. So he's like, we don't try to like invent things. He's like, we let Europe and America invent them, and we just perfect the engineering afterward. I'm like, I guess that's what true to form. That's what they've done in many cases.
Especially rock and roll has found its own really unique niche there after the Beatles and everything.
Ian has showed me some like interesting old like fusion bands like Cassiopeia.
Sure.
That were like fun. I don't know if that counts as rock, but
rock has a very wide berth now.
Well, there's so many subgenres to things. I don't even act like I know what they mean anymore.
Pretty much in order to be rock, some element of your production has to be based in American roots, blues, delta music.
As far as the scales and such?
Yeah, whether it's the beat that the song is going to, or some of the classic progressions, or even just instrumentation, vocal style. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you tick a single box and you're technically part of the rock umbrella. Yeah, because it's become so proliferated.
Because I remember I used to think of like what you'd call most like electronic, not like industrial, but like most electronic music as techno. And then I realized, okay, now there's house, and that was good.
Oh, same thing, electronic music.
And again, I'm not a huge fan of it, so I'm a little outside the lines. But like, then someone's like, "This is deep house, this is trance, this is jungle house, this is drum and bass." I'm like, okay, I liked a lot of them, but you only have time for so much in the brain, I guess.
It does seem a little overwhelming, the genreification and categorization of music, but also there is so much of it that you need these keywords in case you want to dive deeper,
Sure, but I feel like there should be some sort of limitation. Like you can only have 20 subgenres to a genre. There's got to be some, like at some point, because what happens is it becomes narcissistic. Like a band's like, we don't want to be like that label. We want to be a new label. And that's too happens. It's it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
There's for sure. Artistic expression, it's hard to put limitations on it. Okay, so this next fight is Abi, one of the sumo bad boys, which you can say whatever you want about him, but it's the sumo organization that let him back in, so cheer for him if you like him, because he's on a real tear.
Who's Abi, in the blue or the black?
He's the black. Look at his Shiko stretches.
Wait, he's the one that we were talking about where someone told us about his uncle?
Correct.
Where we were talking about how
and then Hoshoryu also has an uncle, the ex-Yokozuna Asashoryu. So, big expectations here, and he's one of my guys. And then the other guy, Abi, is one of Denizen of Hearth's guys. So this is the other head-to-head tonight, I think.
I like this old lady's cat sweater in the front row. It's pretty cute. Looks like it's handmade.
Yeah.
It's pretty handmade. I like that.
Almost looks like a fox.
Either one.
Could be a cat.
Pretty
nice. Got like a long snoot.
It's to be honest, whatever animal it is, they didn't quite get it right, but that makes it a little like that's like a real deal grandma sweater. I like that. Like that's authentic, genuine, all natural. David, by the way, we appreciate you jumping in the chat. If you think 10 is good, you should have seen when. What stream went down one day?
Sumo Kyokai or something.
We were like 120 concurrent.
Had like 500 people hanging around in it, and then they all temporarily spilled over into our humble soup shop.
Yeah. on the one day that I had no one in studio,
it was the worst
it looked like
level of. I was in my living room. All right, fans up.
Like it's not production I would put my name on, but
CHANKO.
oh, nice dodge!
Immediate bell grip. Oh, so good.
That lateral move he made in the beginning, quite nice.
Oh man,
that's the official analytical breakdown.
That makes me feel so good because I think Hoshoryu is way more talented than Abi, and I picked him for my team, but nobody seems to be able to stop Abi. I've been waiting for someone to do it, and it's like, finally, hype man Hoshoryu, do your thing. Get out there and show us what you got.
I just think he really kind of surprised. Oh, it almost fell on Cat Sweater Lady. I would have been very devastated.
Nah, that seat was expensive. She's hoping they'll fall on it.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, she's been waiting years for this.
She's with the Make-A-Wish.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's the Shimpan Euthanasia program. There's a long waiting list, and it's like a lottery.
You go out with honor.
Yeah, exactly. Killed by a samurai. So my boy takes it. That was their first meeting ever. So he must have watched the tape on him pretty good.
Yeah, because like I said, he clearly had a game plan. He wouldn't have made a move that quickly unless that was like, premeditated.
I would think so, yeah.
I mean, you of course know much more about.
Although even I have a strategy about what to do to Abi because he's so monochromatic with his style. So I'm sure someone as good as Hoshoryu with enough lineage and the resources pulled the card on him.
Or whatever.
Right, exactly. He's got people cooking and cleaning for him while he just watches footage and like runs drills and stuff. I'm sure he's like the guys Rocky fights against when they've got like all the robot stuff hooked up to him, taking their vitals. Okay, life is a treasure with Takara Lieben.
I gotta say, the companies that sponsor this could do well to maybe produce 2 to 3 commercials to run on a cycle.
15 days in a row.
I mean,
I'm gonna
forget us.
have
Just
a brain
any
aneurysm.
person.
Any human being.
Also, it's not just me. She's cross-eyed, right?
Maybe the camera's just really far away.
No, she looks totally normal.
Well, maybe the camera was closer for her. I don't
like
know.
her dress. I like this lady.
I'm done with you. It's a Subway commercial.
I'm saying I like that her dress has a dress drawn on it. They're so much more tasteful. Over
You're
there.
being inundated by the commercials now. They're proselytizing you.
Yeah, it's the
like, I love her.
It's waifu. It's waifu status.
Oh, there she is. Shut up. Funny because the advertising is working, but you don't speak Japanese, so you can't even buy the product if you wanted to. Oh no. Tragic. What's tragic?
Let's see here. Who is happening next? 0-7. That's quite the record. What's up? Yeah, we're live. Where'd my phone go? Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, the next fight we're going to see is Ono Show. Oh, yes, Show, maybe, tonight. He's got 5-2 record this tournament, looking pretty hot. And then on the right, we've got Chiono Kuni with a 0-7 record, trying to find the daylight. His back is against the wall. If he doesn't win every single fight starting tonight for the rest of the tournament, he will definitely be handed a demotion at the end of the next...
At the end of this?
Yeah, at the end of the tournament when they come up with the rankings for next time, he will almost certainly be demoted.
What rank is he now?
He's sitting in at Megashira 9 East. So there's 18 and there's 2 of each. So he's
that's pretty heavy.
He's in the middle. And he'll get dumped depending on how many more he loses. If he won all 8 of them, he would get a promotion. But if he loses tonight, he is doomed. He'll receive the first Maki Koshi of the tournament, which means losing record.
Like the fastest to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the
we'll give him a
distinction
special
you'd like to have,
CHANKO award for being the first guy to shoot himself in the foot.
The best loser, if you will.
The fattest loser.
Oh, no, it's just a personal color that they have or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like come up to the next color belt, or is it like 1 down, 2 down, 3 down?
Oh, it depends on how bad. Like, let's say you lose. If you lose like
it's
all
relative?
15 fights, you'll get demoted a lot.
So it's a relative amount. They could be like that's 1 up or 1 down.
Correct.
Wow.
If you only lose by a little, like say you go 8-7 or 7-8, You won 7 out of 15. That's not bad. You might only lose 1 rank. But if you, say, like, lose a bunch in a row and then you drop out, so you get an 0 and 15 score, you might even go down into, like, the 2nd division. Like, you could wind up in, like, little leagues.
Yeah, it's like the undercard.
But in judo, if you go up from the belt, you go from white to yellow.
Oh, yeah.
White belt.
Hang on 1 second. This is about to start this one.
Chanko.
I got a quick
Oh
jump.
no, Show should have the edge here.
Even with the outside.
And he's capitalizing from... But there it is.
Man. Put him right down. It took him a while, though, but...
He's got a 1-2 record against Chionokuni, but if you look at their momentum this tournament, the writing's on the wall. One of them is in great form and the other one's in terrible form. So whatever their record is, it doesn't...
Yeah, sometimes the timing is...
Brian, the belts are not correlated to rank here. They just all have a number. They're numbered 1 through 18, 1 being the best.
Yeah, the belt's just like their personal one because of...
Yeah, the belts are just for fun.
Just straight up the belt. It's not like fucking segments like with judo. 1 down, 2 down.
Well, they're
it's linear, but it's like
instead of dans, they have titles at the top of the thing. There's 4 titled ranks, which is like once you get your black belt, you know, you start getting dans.
Yeah, especially to kind of distinguish between masters and...
Right. But everybody below that is actually the same rank, and they all get numbers to distinguish their relation to each other, all called Mega Shira.
I think the big difference is like in most of the traditional martial arts, you either stay where you're at or go up unless you do something really unusual and get knocked down. Here, it's like there's a lot of fluidity, it seems, from what they've described. Like
your rank changes every tournament.
Yeah, like you just kind of...
Going to bed?
Thanks. I'll pop by in a second.
Yeah, it's not like with karate, say, where like you learn and each time you get a new belt, you are at that rank. You're not going to get demoted from it.
Right.
In this, it's not about like you mastered these skills, now you go up a rank. It's like you beat that guy, now you go up a rank. So if he comes back and beats you, and enough people do that, then you go back down the roster. You have to fight to stay in this sport. And then they keep track of your highest rank ever, and they respect people that used to have a high rank, but like at the end of the day...
Like it gets you some kind of deference, but that's all.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're down in fucking Makushita, 3rd division, you get no money. You're scrubbing toilets. Doesn't matter who you used to be. You just retire if you don't like it, or fight your way back to the top. And a lot of them will become coaches or whatever.
Makes sense.
Afterwards, so... Well,
but if you once were great, then
if you were a champion, tournament-winning champion at some point, but you just didn't want to retire for a long time. There was one guy called Aminishiki who would refuse to retire till he was like 40, and he was not doing good at the end. But you can't judge it based on that because he used to be quite a wrestler in his day. I'm not sure how high he ever got, but it's all Greek if I just talk about titles and stuff. I'm just talking sumo culture in general.
Because you see enough fights, you get the gist of how the physical goes. It's cool to learn more of the history and nuance and whatnot.
Yeah. I'm the historian.
You don't want to...
I'm okay for now, thank you. Next fight up is Tobizaru versus Chiyoshoma. Tobizaru is on Denizen's team. He's got the 5-1 lead over Chiyoshoma. That's Tobizaru on the left in the powder blue belt, and Chiyoshoma, the last samurai, on the right. He's a slick, tricky Mongolian son of a bitch. No, actually, is he? He might be. He could be Chinese. He just looks mad Mongolian to me. He looks... it wasn't so much confusion as I think Zach was just refusing to believe that every time he goes, oh, that guy looks super Japanese, what he means is that guy's Mongolian. Because everyone in it is Japanese. So when they stand out, Chanko. Tobizaru with a big hit and shift. Now he's got the belt grip, tugging, pulling, pushing, and it's over. That one was pretty easy to call, just given their head-to-head 5-1 in the past. Chiyoshoma. There we go. He is Mongolian, yes. Mongori Shushin. That's how they say it. Mongori. What do we got here? Yeah, it's funny. He basically just Henka the Henka master.
That's over here, Chris. Yeah.
which let him get that ridiculous outside right-hand belt grip. That big push and pull lets him get his position on the side and drive him out. Chiyoshoma, I think, was just flabbergasted to get Henke'd and never really recovered. I don't know if he thought he was going to get a straight ahead attack on Tobizaru or what, because if you look at in the slow-mo, he just kind of like runs at him. Tobizaru defeated Chiyoshoma by push out. They'll probably call it Yorikiri. No, thank you. I'm teetotal. It was Yorikiri. Easy to call, but sometimes they're like, no, it was sideways, crafty monkey push out. And then I'll call it that, and they'll be like, no, Yorikiri. Actually, we decided because we want to make Brendan look stupid. Yeah. All you gotta do is let me talk long enough.
One time I had to cover this without Neil for a minute. I was like, so next we have more people fighting.
Yeah, guys dressed in sumo outfits.
I think you can do it wing it pretty easy in this if you just talk about your events.
Yeah, but there's so much. The people that watch are true fans. So
Some of them, yeah.
They know you don't know shit, but like, if you're like, I don't know.
Some of the people though we've had comments saying that like I don't understand like 60% of what you're saying because it's all sumo inside chat. Yeah, me and Neil especially. We'll get talking about like some wrestler and compare him to some other wrestler, but there's no pictures or anything, so they're like, what the fuck are those two guys? So we got to tighten up the screws there a little bit and keep it based on what's on camera, because it's not all of our viewers are like super fans, although the ones who are know more than us. So thanks everybody. We got Tamawashi, the Yokozuna Slayer here in the light blue belt. He put the first blemish on the tournament leader Teruno Fuji a couple nights ago. Although he has 2 losses himself, so if he loses this tonight against Hokuto Fuji, he's in really hot water. It's basically like, thanks for the help, but there's no way he could win the tournament. I shouldn't say no way, but with 3 losses. Yeah. I'd be shocked if the tournament was won with a score of 12 or fewer. That, to me, seems low. Their head-to-head is 8-6 in favor of Tamawashi, which sort of figures. Tamawashi's edge is just a little bit sharper than Hokuto Fuji's, which makes up for the power deficit, because I think Hokuto Fuji's a little bit stronger. He's got more explosive bursting power. There have been Chinese Rikishi before. Chat. There was one guy recently, Sokokurai, who retired, and I think he actually runs his own stable now. So there's a Chinese Oyakata even. Yeah, Japanese Yokozuna is definitely the dream. CHANKO, false start. Didn't seem like it was on purpose, although I wouldn't put it past Tamawashi.
You get a cumulative record. Yes. Yep. How many guys are in this tournament, Brendan? Do you know roughly?
You mean in all 6 divisions, or
No, in the top division.
Top division? Well, let's think about it. There's got to be about 40 something, right? Because there's 18 Megashiras plus 2, 4, 6.
I just figure. Let's
7.
see here. I don't mean to interrupt you on this one. Oh, going in on the
Tamawashi's mixing his pushing attacks with a drive, but it's not enough to take out Hokuto Fuji, who steps to the side.
This is well
twice,
contested.
3 times. Resists at the bails.
Oh,
And then leaps through the air
that
for a
looks
slap down.
painful. I haven't seen a guy roll off the doily.
Yeah, he looks like he
that.
probably knocked the wind out of him
That's
pretty hard.
The sternum hit the bails, I think, is what happened.
Oof.
There. Probably not injured, but
Look
definitely.
at Meisei like, what the...
Get off me, bro. He's probably fine, but I think his sternum solar plexus landed right on the bail.
Doc the Elder, Tamawashi is called the Iron Man because of his streak of consecutive fights, but I think it's actually about half of what you said there. The number I heard was like 700 something. Consecutive. Oh, you know what? Might be top division. Maybe that overall stat is 1400 because it includes his lower division fights. He's never taken a sick day. Is the point? Maybe we're doing different stats. But either way, the guy who just got belly flopped really hard is the most. What do you call it?
And that was a good slap down, not the
best attendance record. Well, it was a combination push out, slap down at the same time.
Oh, true. So,
but he stepped out first.
I think he did get the win, even though he belly flopped.
Oh man,
that
he
so
rolled off the side
because these guys are so stoic; they don't express that much. So, like for him to look hurt,
I think that's why he rolled over down onto the ground because he's like, I need to lay somewhere for a second, and I can't do it on the clay.
How many fighters are in each night? So the tournament that's on tonight.
Okay, so there's 7 titled fighters, and then there's whatever 17 times 2.
34.
34 plus 7 is 41. So there's 42 fighters in the top division. And
each night, like tonight, for example, how many fights are there?
All of them. Like that by 2.
21 then, right?
Yeah, every night, everyone fights someone unless they pull out of the tournament, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
There's no, like, nights off. So they just rotate who you fight. And by the end, you have some kind of cumulative total. And it's pretty much everyone fights each other once, generally, right?
No, well, there's not enough fights for everyone to fight everybody, necessarily.
Okay.
So there'll be whole tournaments where you don't fight a certain guy. The selection is done by a panel of, like, shadowy figures in a darkened room who organize sumo, the elders. And they'll look at it and be like, okay, so these guys have the same score and... you know, whatever. So we'll have them fight tonight because it's dramatic. They like to build a story as it goes by facing certain guys against each other. He's the guy who just beat the leader last night, so we'll put him up against the other leader tonight and see if he can wrecking ball everything and make a big splash.
Keep the best against the best kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like as the tournament unfolds, the guys who are doing better will be gravitated toward each other.
Right, and the losers also tend to fight. Like if there's 2 guys who haven't gotten a win yet on the last day, they usually fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
So someone has to get a win this tournament.
That actually kind of makes sense because usually with the winners win, they kind of get like this like runner-up or third place, kind of as a reward kind of thing.
Right.
Though here, there's only the one, right? They don't. Besides the special awards,
correct. There's special prizes they give out for certain types of performance, but there's only one winner for the tournament. They don't really necessarily give anything to the runner-ups, except for like pride mostly.
If the 2 champions face off or 2 top contenders face off, and the winner in other sports like K1 and stuff, they can face like the loser of another fight to get an easier fight. It's like, almost like a benefit of winning.
I don't know how much of that happens.
Yeah, it's more because that's more like in the whole length of a career. This is always like done like in a
2-week
per tournament basis. Yeah, so it's almost like it's in a bubble in a bit versus say like in a boxing, MMA, kickboxing where you're taking a look over the whole career of the guy in its bit.
Wakataka Kage on the left and Ichinojo on the right have faced 4 times, and Ichinojo has won 3 out of the 4 times. Ichinojo is a Mongolian and the largest man in the top division. Wakataka Kage is Japanese and one of the smallest guys, weight-wise, in the top division.
I feel like Ichinojo always looks like a very placid guy, though. Like
yeah, well, he doesn't have to be very aggressive with that body weight. He can just sort of lock up like this and then lean on them and really put the pressure on their back and their arms to try to hold him off, or he'll start walking forward.
Like he beats your ass while at peace.
This position really favors him.
Well, plus he has that arm lock underneath, right? Keeping his right arm tied up pretty much.
If he can keep you flexing while he leans on you, then it's just a
and it's not gassing him out either.
Correct, because his weight's on you.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm guessing at that height is often.
Easy, yeah. He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah. This is bad news for Wakataka Kage, but sometimes I think Ichinojo forgets he's fighting when he's up there, because then they'll like jerk suddenly
have
and
a bit of a nap.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, something like that.
Wow. I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you, even though I know Waka's not bad. That was
an object in motion stays in motion. So as soon as he starts his forward march,
You know, it's almost like you're right. He basically had a forward lean. He probably held him in that position so long that he got used to it, forgot he was leaning, and then he just let him.
Yeah, he loses track of his massive.
It didn't look like he judo through him. He just let it. He just kind of let physics do its.
Just slid out from underneath his holdy folds.
And that wouldn't be considered. What's the word that begins with an H where you said it's a little bit less honorable if you like kind of olay a guy a bit with
henka?
Henka. That wouldn't be considered a henka, right?
No,
he was tied
henka
up with
is
stuff,
when
right?
you basically jump out of the way while they're jumping toward you and slap them.
Okay.
Like as they pass you,
like
know,
at
you
the
slap
start
them
or
on the
something,
ass.
yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
Oh no, you're right. He actually leveraged that down.
Yeah, he had to go like this around it.
I love how no matter how contested these matches are, they never look like they've even put out the slightest. I've yet to see a drop of sweat. Or
well,
like or a grimace
there.
face. Yeah. Yeah, but still, I mean, dude, I jog up a flight of stairs and I'll break it. I eat chicken wings and I break a sweat. Even when I was in shape. I just always get a kick out of versus many martial arts, how stoic they are in every element of the game, mid fight, post fight.
Yeah.
It's almost like that scene before.
Bushido, you know. Okay, so Meisei on the left there, and Kiribayama on the right. For the.
Would you like?
Yeah, I'll take a little sip here. Thank you. They have an all-time record of 4-1 in Meisei's favor, who also has the winning record this tournament compared to Kiribayama's soft start of 1-6.
Somehow the smoke has screwed up my chroma key. Technical difficulties.
Meisei is one of Denizen's fighters. None of us chose Kiribayama.
What's the implication?
Well, it's good we didn't because he's 1-6.
Oh yeah, fair. Is there anybody else with only one win that you know of? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just figured like
yeah,
we
well,
saw
I
the
can tell
0-7 guy. Brought to you again, of course, as always, by Invisible Beer.
Invisibeer.
The beer that you can't see.
Well, Chionokuni still hasn't won a single one, so he's 0-8 right now.
Right, well, I remember.
No matter what happens.
Was there any others? Oh, right, because
he's a loser this
now
tournament.
in the red.
But if he drops out now with 8 losses, he'll plummet further down the roster than if he continued to fight and still didn't win any. Because they don't want him to just quit. It's cooler if he just loses 15 days in a row.
Are any of these guys teammates to the point where, let's say you have a guy who's your stablemate, teammate, whatever, where he's so assed out on the one tournament, you might let him beat you so that he gets less of a demotion?
No, because you never.
Because he's your teammate, the way like NASCAR guys do.
No,
right?
You never face your own team.
In a whole,
I mean,
how
I
do they
understand. They just don't. You just never get paired up against people from your own team. They
even
just
if you're in the
won't.
same tournament.
Right.
Okay, I thought you meant you could.
No, there's guys in every
tournament
tournament who are in the same stables, but they won't pair them against each other for rank.
Sure.
Because they train together, so that's you wouldn't allow them to fight for rank. Probably exactly what you're saying. They might throw him a bone, like if the guy needs
for like
a one.
gambling or anything weird, just on the strength of like my guy needs some love.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they want to avoid that, so they never face each other ever. Well, except there's these unranked tournaments they do on the road called Jungyo events, where it's not
more exhibitionary.
Yeah, nothing counts. So you'll see crazy upsets.
Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah. Now, for any of you out there who question Brendan's credibility, not only can he answer all my questions, but look in the camera. If you look into his eyes, he is such a sumo fucking god that you'll actually see sumo in his eyes. It's real, people.
I'm like,
it's real. I've now increased my prop humor to include the host of the show,
Andy Caps Hot Fries,
Arizona Pants,
and Public Broadcasting Service.
When they're going down for the startup, I know that they go as soon as the second fighter's last knuckles hit, but is there anything that says the one guy has to go down before the other?
No,
okay.
And that's funny because there's often times where one guy just straight up won't go down until the other guy does. Like he'll just mean mug him, yeah, for sure.
Stalemate.
Exactly, and he'll just stand there and like stare him down until the other guy kneels first. And then sometimes they'll false start, so he's got to do it again. That's Hakuho used to do that, like make people bow to him a bunch of times before they could start the fight.
It's just psychological.
Yeah. He'd like wait till you go down and then walk over and just teabag you for a few seconds. Like, oh, I thought we were going.
Whoops, sorry, sir.
Oh, man, he was dirty. Mentally and physically.
Oh, Doc the Elder clarified. He said you face your own team or stable only when it's a playoff to win the Basho.
Oh,
that
thank you.
Sense.
That's true.
See, I had no idea that they...
But that's not a ranked match. That's part of why. There's never... That's just for the who wins the tournament.
Boyko said, great commentary. Keep it up.
You got it.
Nicely done, Brendan.
Fans up. CHANKO. Meisei with a strong start. Losing ground early. He gets outclassed.
Did he get spun, or was he trying to swing his foot around to the other side to evade
both?
him?
I think, and I'll have to watch it in the replay, but I think he was going for like one of those leg throw situation, like quick last minute fisherman throw. And I think Kiribayama just read it.
Well, because I mean, these guys move with obviously like a agility not
Superhuman
usually
speed.
afforded men of this size.
Let's see here.
Oh,
big
headbutt on the floor. I'm surprised no one got cut there.
Throat push, knocks it down. Arm bar, tries to meet him, and then at the last second goes for a throw that he can't find.
He just came up short.
He pretty much threw himself down because he
hands on
wanted
him,
to
right?
get the arm bar with it, but his arm just totally missed Kiribayama's arm. And then I think Kiribayama was like, whoa. Hey, all right.
Dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I don't think that had anything to do with him.
Get my elbow broken.
Let's see what they call it officially.
I was surprised we haven't seen a
Toss my own self on the ground, Itoshi.
like a fall injury or some such, or like a...
We almost did with Ura.
Well, we saw the one guy some guy had the guy's arm wrenched up hard and with the lock underneath. I don't know what you call it exactly, but he then looked like he was going to throw him. I'm like, he could just rip his arm out of the socket.
Yeah.
And one of you said, like, absolutely.
And sometimes I think they do, like, purposely crank it a little bit too hard, which seems scary. Like, you're going to get in the ring with these guys, and they're like, no, you don't understand. This is my life. I'd rather break your fucking arm than lose this match tonight, so don't stick it out if you don't want it to get pulled off.
Right, this isn't like a side hustle.
Yeah. I'm a Yokozuna with 14 wins. You step to me, you better come correct, kid. If you want to fight properly for the next 6 months of your life, you better not stick anything out you don't want to lose.
Yeah, especially because they don't get any of it out in the form of like shit talk, so they have to really have like a truly
micro expression,
potent physical attack. How many
they
more
call
we
it
have?
Oshi ta Oshi and dust to dust. Let's see.
How
We only
many
got
more?
4 or 5.
That makes
4
sense.
fights left. So this one's Mitakayumi, who's on a perfect 7-win tear. One more win tonight, and he's got it locked in, guaranteed winning record this tournament. But he wants to win the tournament. He doesn't want just a winning record.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
He
It's
wants
good to
the
see some
cup.
parody, you know.
The Emperor's Cup. And he wants him to hang a big old picture of him up over the stadium. Like they do.
They do with each winner.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They hang up all around the stadium. If we get a camera angle that shows it, I'll point it out.
Yeah, but it's been going on for so many years. Does that not get a bit?
They take them down as they
extensive?
rotate out.
Oh, like every year or 3? Or...
Yeah, I don't know. It
27.
might just be for the calendar year.
That's cool.
Yeah, it
Seems
is.
like pretty awesome.
Get a big old fish. You take pictures with everybody. Usually they do terrible the next tournament after they win because they're partying so hard.
Yeah.
The whole in between. Everyone wants to shake their hand and buy them a cup of beer or some sushi or
It's been forever. I don't remember why I saw it, but I saw like a brief, like when you watch like a 10-minute documentary and you get like a outer portico knowledge of a thing, and it was on sumo fighters, and it was funny because like it was showing how all of their discipline training and physical strength training and like movement training was on par with any other type of professional athlete. Like as far as the dedication, the amount of it being done, the level of trainers being utilized for them was like all at the highest level, like it would be over here for NBA, NFL, whatever. But then at the flip side, unlike some dudes over here or like other sports, they were just getting absolutely mashed, eating all the time, dating 3-4 chicks at the same time. Like it was, you know what I mean? They were like living a whole like
celebrity
they were
lifestyle
really
as well.
living it up nicely. I just thought it was a cool
This is Mitakayumi
balance.
versus Daisho. Daisho's on the right, the darker red belt. Or I should say perhaps
well regarded.
slightly bluer red. More of a mauve. The Mauve Avenger. Daisho, the flying man of Sakae. Very powerful pusher thruster. Not the most powerful, but certainly the most skilled pusher thruster in the top division right now. Versus Mitakeyumi, who has excellent pushing attacks as well, but can also, on top of that, work the belt like a master.
So similar stylistics.
He's got his number 12-7.
To Mitakeyumi.
Mitakeyumi, yes. He's larger. He's more skillful. He has more techniques in the quiver.
And he's on a tear.
When it's, when we're on the, when it's all on the line, and there has to be a small adjustment on the fly, Mitakeyumi has way more options than Daisho. So the man on the right sometimes pulls off a win by being faster, more chaotic, bombastic, and Mitakeyumi can't just neutralize him. But most times,
he's very broad,
I should say.
Like there's some dudes that seem a lot heavier than him, but he just seems just like a broad.
Yeah, he's
dude.
like a fire hydrant, isn't he? Him and Takakesho are like that.
Bulldogish.
They have very similar body types, and for a while it seemed like him, Mitakeyumi, and Takakesho, who dropped out this tournament, were gonna be like rivals, like great. Like both of them were gonna pop off and be like Yokozunas that are always ones taking the tournament, or if they don't, it's the other one.
Right, like keeping each other sharp.
Yeah, but they didn't do that, and they just cooled off. It's been kind of sad.
It's a little disheartening.
CHANKO. Headbutt in the middle. Daisho's classic pushing attacks. Mitakeyumi looking for an opening. Not giving him an inch, but now he's on the reverse, but he's got the... Yeah, there you go. He never really found the belt grip with the left hand, but it looked like maybe he got a little something with the right hand.
It looked like Daisho tried to get cute and give way to him, but then it backfired on him when he didn't fall on his face.
What was cool there is Mitakeyumi is the guy who usually sets people out respectfully.
Okay.
But he didn't have enough control to do that.
So he helped him back up.
Well, it proves that it was competitive. Daisho, he was not in control. In the end, he did win, but
like he didn't sun him. He just beat him.
It really took his all.
Yeah, really.
It was a real challenge. They're exchanging thrusting attacks every time he goes in to lift him up and try to find some kind of grip. Daisho's got the answer for it. Great rhythm, like bend back. But then he keeps following it up with throat attacks instead of maybe hitting the belly or something. And so he's able to eventually sweep with the arm there, which doesn't open him up. Another flurry of blows. I mean, this is really, he's giving it to him.
He ate a lot. I mean, in slow-mo, you really realize how many shots he was eating there. Quite a few.
And then it looked like he was on the reverse.
See,
but he
right there, I
punched off
thought he
the
tried
bails.
to get the pull.
He did, right? Right here, Daisho's going for a pulling attack.
Even before, but then he just...
Because he felt the momentum come, but it was too much. He went round robin on him. Kept control of his hips, drove through with the head. Pretty textbook still. Very good fundamentals from Mitakeyumi, but it took everything he had. Maybe not everything, because he himself didn't fall on his belly.
Yeah, but just right there, just that first step not falling down.
Launched off. If you look at his back of his calf.
Yeah,
There's like jet boosters that popped out for a second.
I think the other dude had a good strategy. It just didn't happen for him on that one. Like that pull attack
was maths, right? In the end, you're right. It wasn't his strategy that was flawed. It was like that big push off the bails. He got outweighed. So there we go. He did it. 8 wins. He's the first guy to do it. He's got a guaranteed winning record, and he's hot on the trail of a tournament cup. Or a U-show, as they call it, when you win the whole Basho, which is what the term is.
We'll have to get an NBA Jams. He's on fire. Fucking sound effects.
We should play that, too.
Next time I'll have a soundboard.
Fighting games, and then mix in a little bit of, we'll get
a toasty.
Yeah.
Get a He's on Fire. Flawless victory. Suggest other things in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to commercial.
If you guys want to see who's fighting who, the official site of Sumo has a Torikumi, it's called, every day that tells what the fights are. So that's sumo.or.jp. It's the website, and then you sort of navigate through their menus. If you found us, you can figure their website out. It should translate to English when you go to it, or whatever language you speak. Japanese would be really convenient. And I think /en is how you get it to be the English site if it's not working. But you just pop over there and go to the daily matches. I think it's called Matches and Results is the name of the page. You can find out. In case you're like, who the heck was that? They list it. And then if you refresh, it'll tell you who won that match, what technique they used. Pretty handy, and it'll even show you if you click on the wrestler's name, it'll show you like what moves they like to use, what stable they're from, where they were born, highest rank ever, awards they've won. It's very useful resource. I see people asking me names and stuff in the chat, which I will tell you, but sometimes I don't see it for a minute. Becomes irrelevant. I forget. I'm just a boy.
We're doing our best here.
Yeah. Cherry Blossom Gang Gang.
Yay, yay.
The next fight is Ura versus Takanosho. They've never fought before. Takanosho, your guy, versus Ura, who none of us picked, but all of us love.
Yeah, I mean, Takanosho. Wait, what's happening? Who's mine?
Takanosho is your guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, that's Zach.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Excuse me.
I was like, I have.
No, Terano Fuji, and then he's on screen right now.
See, I feel like I shouldn't have him though, because that's like too. Like, I know that was given to me because I don't know anything.
The first night that we were doing this, we walked in and you saw him on the screen and you were like, so Terano Fuji, and just said his name out loud. And I was like, you know who that is? Not that you're any kind of anyone's fool, but I don't know how much you invest in the details of this show.
First you learn some names, you learn some faces, then you connect the dots on some of them, I guess. But you got to figure the condition of myself at the time that we do this is a little less than peak, let's say.
Oh my goodness. Ura and Takanosho. So Ura's the technique prize winning, spectacle giving monster in the pink belt. And he's facing off against Takanosho. Not the most skilled, but I believe the most powerful pusher thruster in the top division. Him and Daisho have a lot in common.
Yeah, Daisho put up a good fight.
But you can see Takanosho on the right is a lot larger than the guy who was just on the right, Daisho. Taller, anyway. Whereas Ura's more Daisho's size. Can't remember if they fought yet this tournament, but I'd love to watch that. Daisho and Ura. I'll take a look, actually. I have the resources to find that out. Fans up. Taking his time.
Yeah, really. I respect it. He's like, look.
He's way off the line.
Are you allowed to be anywhere behind it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes they'll make you. Leg pick, baby!
Now, is that
awesome?
Is that not what you said, though? Was it with a Hanka?
Not a Hanka. No, that was a single. He grabbed his knee.
Again, my ignorance.
A Hanka is when you basically
here.
jump out of the way and smack them as they pass you.
So this was
it's like a redirection of their
clean win.
This is
that looked
great.
Cool. That looked pretty great.
Sick technique.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Is that
the
why he
shit
gave
we
him so
look
much
for.
room?
Must have been. Yeah, he really wanted to like count his paces while he ran in.
Yeah, because you gotta get the timing right on something like that, I would imagine.
Yeah, let's watch. Left leg forward, and then as soon as he stepped right into it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, full send. That's why he won. You can't be bashful.
He had to guess which leg was going to go forward and then dodge the other way to intercept the other leg on the spot. So, like, right there, he had to make his decision.
I wonder if guys change up what they lead with once in a while so as not to be so predictable for them. Because that's the first time I've seen that technique, and I've watched, 4 tournaments?
I wonder if he watched tape or something, or if he really just called it on the spot there. So
that was cool, though. Would you like it?
Ura has not faced Daisho yet. No, I'm okay, thank you. So we might get to see that yet. No, Ura just fought. Daisho was before that.
I can't believe I somehow was
bamboozled.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. He keeps finding entertaining ways to win or lose, but each
Absolutely.
time.
He's a bundle of monkeys. Barrel of monkeys? Bundle of tricks? A bindle full of stiffs? Oh, baby. Takayumi is Neil's guy.
みんな技術はこう取られても全然こう焦らない。
なるほど。
焦るともうね、裏から見たらよっしゃーって思ってる。
We have two more, right?
裏の思った通りにやられてしまうってことですね。
足取られたでこう取らしとけばいい。
取らしとけばいい。
で最初はね。
はい。
っていうのがある。
Two fights left tonight. The next one to come up is going to be Endo versus Shodai. Shodai's on my team. He's on the right in the blue belt. Endo's on the left in the purplish sort of belt there. Burgundy. So that's Endo on the left, Shodai on the right. What a chill wagon. Okay, their all-time head-to-head is 5-8 in Shodai's favor. So I'll take Shodai. I'll take the guy I picked, huh? Am I right? Am I right? Ooh.
昨日はちょっと沖縄とのね、一番土俵際も残らないで、ちょっとあっけなくね、土俵出てたんで、心配でしたね。このね、ここではマサヨという名前でね、皆さん応援してね。
そうですね。
Yeah, I really like the fight between Toby Zaru and Hakuho. Happened 2 tournaments ago. That had some crazy tricky stuff at the Tachiai. So the most memorable one, I think, for me, where there was something weird going on at the Tachiai. I think he made him restart a couple times because they both, like, he didn't move. You know, he kept saying Hakioi, and then Tobizaru was like, no. You can't make me go in there. Very fun. Hakuho. Now he's an Oyakata, but what's his name? Huh? Hasn't started yet. Oh, why can't I remember? Miyagi no Oyakata? Is that his name? Or is that a Beya? I'm so tired. Magaki. Magaki Oyakata is what they call Hakuho. In before someone told me. Okay. Endo has got a bad record and Shodai's got a slightly better one, but they're both in the hall. Since no one on the Chanko fam picked Endo and I picked Shodai, I'd like to get the whole. Anyone who can lend some energy for the Spirit Bomb to just ease the winds against Shodai's back here tonight. Summon soft rains upon Shodai's fields. I had expected Endo, the guy in the purple belt, to beat Teruno Fuji last night, but it did not happen. Either he couldn't get his can opener out in time, or he just simply was out of whoop ass. But if he couldn't do it when it counted, why would he beat Shodai? Come on. Big meet and greet. Locked him up. Dissembled him. Inside grip. Push him out. That is my boy.
Oh, nicely done.
Sheesh. Hallelujah. Okay, moving into the final night. Final fight. Night of the fight. Night Fighter. There you go. Phew. Saved me.
Saved.
Oh,
Save.
inches above the ground.
Hoping the beer didn't have to check.
Shoulder to the head. Never even really was against the bales. Shodai found a perfect little slide underneath. Stood him up and pushed him out clean. That's what you love to see. Now this next match, the final match, is between Teruno Fuji, the Yokozuna, and Okinumi, the Megashira 4 East. Their head-to-head is 14-3, meaning that Teruno Fuji has defeated Okinumi 14 times in their past meetings, which must be because they're both such old dudes. Because I doubt they've met 14, let's say plus the 3, so 17 times just since Teruno Fuji's been back from his injuries. Must be
roughly
a couple of years. So that must have been back before he got his injuries that these two have met so many times. So this is something, the last match of the night here. Okinumi on the right, Teruno Fuji on the left. I wouldn't call it a rivalry because it's such a lopsided record that they carry together, but
we could say historical significance.
Yeah, these guys have fought many times in the ring before and since his injury.
And who knows, maybe a few times outside of the ring.
Oh yeah, right,
you never
exactly,
know.
at the karaoke bar.
How they get down.
Okay. Teruno Fuji is not leading the tournament anymore, so he can't really, as the grand champion, he can't afford to keep losing. I would be shocked, and there's suspicion that if he did lose another one, he would just drop out of the tournament. But I think that's...
I thought that was more if it was consecutive. Even a second loss period, you think should cause it?
Well, looking at what we know now, that Mitakayumi is still perfect, I don't know. To me, that factors in. Makes sense. Like if... Because if the fight tonight, losing would mean he's falling further off the pace. It's not like the other leader lost 2 or something. Dragging ass for the whole second week, trying to catch up, not being able to fill the gap. Just unbecoming. But I don't know. Kiseno Sato, Kakuryu maybe, but I think, of course, his injuries, I don't know. He's allowed to do whatever the hell he wants, okay? He's earned it. Oh, the final fight of the night. We've done it again. It's funny, I was mentioning last night was a 3-hour broadcast and tonight's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, sorry.
You never know what you're going to get with CHANKO. But we don't make these decisions. There's a board of powerful people that we can't really fight against who own the entire conglomerate, of which we are just a small subsidiary.
But you know what? It keeps us hot on our toes where we got to be.
Yeah. We're fucking doing it live. It doesn't matter what happens.
You're old enough to remember that reference.
Beat the subscribe button over the head with a tack hammer if you get that reference. That was like a dying cat at the end. What can be said? Okinumi is strong enough to beat Teruno Fuji if you didn't know that one of them was, you know, who he is.
The record that it is thus far.
Yeah. You know, like if I'm just walking in the room, some amateur sumo league, and I see these two guys, I might put money on Okinumi with no background information. But it's hard to divorce the narrative of the overall sport that's put out by the newspapers and what little information we get from behind the scenes and what happens on the clay from prognostications about the fight. You want to look at it like height and weight and records and stuff, but it's like so much more than that. You can't discount the sort of like the power of momentum, streaks that will happen. It's something ethereal sometimes. Guys who have no business even being in the tournament basically will just fly through and destroy everybody out of nowhere sometimes because they catch some sort of
timing for some people, like
kismet.
You're in like a flow, you know?
Yeah. It's metaphysical, this sport, sometimes.
Well, I mean, even like American sports I watch, you'll watch as a younger kid, and you think guys just get good, then suck, they go in streaks, but then like you become an adult and you're like, oh yeah, so that guy had like a weird girlfriend for that few months and she was like wearing him out mentally and he couldn't focus on hitting the ball. Or like, oh, that, you know.
Or he won a tournament and he was partying all last month. Sometimes highs and lows, like you naturally crash and ascend.
But just, I mean, like things in life, like regular jobs.
Sure. Oh,
can
yeah,
creep
yeah.
in, you know.
His performance
You'll figure that when
varies.
you're 9.
Apparently, according to one of our chatters, Vincent Shen, Okinumi has 4 gold stars. Although, Vincent Shen, you're the one who spoiled Santa Claus for Chris and told him that Chio Tairyu was actually Sumo Elvis. Broke his little heart last night. So,
Me?
no, not you. Vincent Shen, the chatter, who just said that Okinumi, the guy on the right, has 4 gold stars, which means he's beat Yokozuna's 4
right.
times.
Yeah.
When he was not a titled wrestler. Which is cool, but
Super
Vincent's on
here.
probation. Meeting in the middle, staying underneath. A sort of loose belt grip from Teruno Fuji. Okinumi tries to cover
There's
it.
the-
Oh, and he is out. Teruno Fuji looked like he was made out of cinder blocks in that fight. That was incredible.
Yeah, it didn't.
Like his density was morphing and changing to perfectly mirror and shut down and dissemble Okinumi. Yeah, Vincent, you know who you are. Think about what you did.
Is it unusual for someone to have 4?
Yeah, that's quite a lot. If you ever get one, it's a huge deal.
And that's in any match, right? Like, for instance, the other night.
Yeah, anytime someone who doesn't have a title, like they're just
Wins a
Mega
match,
Share and then a
yes.
number, beats a Yokozuna, they get a gold star because it's supposed to be a huge fucking deal.
Massive upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like an Ozeki beating them or something.
Right, and those guys, they can't get gold stars. Ozaki's, Komosubis, Sekiwake's, because they're supposed to be pretty close to his level
That's
anyway.
the adults table.
Mm-hmm. Keep it competitive in the top, so one of them could win a tournament is the idea. Like if a Yokozuna doesn't win, it should be one of the other titled guys winning it every time. But for the last couple of years, we've had this streak of every January tournament, some random guy pops off and wins his first tournament.
You were saying that, yeah.
So we'll see if that happens. Abi might win his first tournament the way that he's looking. And Takeyumi could win the tournament, although that's not crazy. Nobody else really has what it takes. I'm going to take a quick peek at the leaderboard and run that down for you, and then I'll tell you how we're doing on CHANKO Champs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, Takeyumi is the sole leader with 8 wins, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys trailing behind with 6 wins.
Thanks, Oguso. Whereas match was very
3
cool.
of the guys in second place are our CHANKO champs, and the guy in first place is also one of our CHANKO champs. And then Hosho Ryu and Chiyomaru and Oho, who are also all CHANKO champs, are tied for third place. So we are right on. And then Shodai is in the next group, etc. So we have quite a few of these guys. But basically, Takeyumi is kind of running away with it. He's only in the,
Oguso mentioned how sick was Ura's match. That was fun for me because I had not seen the was a single leg pick.
Yeah, I mean,
I had not
let's
seen
see
that
what they
thus
call
far.
it. It's
I mean, that was the one I'm thinking of, right?
yeah. Well, there's a Japanese word for it, I'm sure. They called it a Ashitori leg pick. Ura is a boss. Yeah, that's fight of the night for me, right? Picking up the leg and hauling him out.
It was so efficient. He didn't even have to use a ton of energy. And like I said too, I mean, this is our fourth tournament being covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
so. Yeah.
I missed some matches because I'm up doing this or that or working on stuff. But out of the ones I've seen, which is at least half of them or more, I think it's the first time I've even seen that technique. So if it's not rare and I'm sounding like an idiot, well then I don't know. I guess that's that. But
no, they are quite
that was
rare.
pretty cool.
That's Ura last tournament won the technique prize because he does crazy shit like that. That's like his whole.
Now I understand what you mean by that thing because I've heard you guys mention it many times, but to see someone in the
Now you watch a tournament with
process
him in
of
it, and you're like, oh man, right. Every night it's something different.
like he'd be that guy where if it was an MMA fight, he'd be getting one of those performance bonuses for having a proper knockout or submission or something like that. He wouldn't just get like a technical victory or something. That was, I was worried for
Stab
him at
him.
first when he fell, but then it was clear he just hit the bail.
Shoda got the win. Putting him at
You have room for this one?
4-4. So let's
that fine?
see. That's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. You will start with have 5, 6, 7, 8.
David Rubin said the Takarafuji spin was a solid match too. Ura is regular
Oh,
size,
yeah,
makes it heap
Takarafuji.
sick. That's true. Ura is not one of the larger guys. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
what
so
he
the
is,
leg
but he's
pick
definitely not a
he's
larger
not,
guy, right?
yeah. The leg pick was cool, but actually the Takarafuji 360 spin around with the ass slap spectacular was like legendary. Just the match before that, I said getting turned around is death. And then he shows up, and he's like, not if you know how to do it.
You're
Watch
right.
hold my beer.
That's the truth, because you know what, now that I think about it too, the Ura was the best win of the night, the coolest move of the night. But when it came down to like mutually the match, yeah, the spin move has to be has got to be the one. This tournament, like, I don't know, it feels like it's a little bit more competitive than the last one. On a match by, I don't know about the numbers, but like on a
Yeah, I
match by
think
match
so.
level, I feel like the last time I saw a lot more right off the bat, just guys dominating one or the other.
Yeah.
More 10, 12-second ones in this
We're
one
right,
versus,
and these are snappy. That's been the kind of the thing the whole time is we're way faster. All the matches are super, like half,
This one or
half as
under?
much. Yeah, this tournament, the matches are like half the length of last tournament.
See, it's funny. I probably shouldn't even like trust my own self. I'm like, we do 2
Figuring
weeks
it was
of
the other
2
way.
weeks of 4 a.m. broadcast. I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't even think I remember anything. That would be arrogant, hubris. They really could have gotten these guys a slightly higher res background, but I guess the blur gives it a realistic effect.
7, 5, 12. Oh man. 6, 7, 8.
王鵬一山本戦2秒47。これも早いですよね。
Okay. Chris is winning with 18.
そして第3位が
Neil, if the board of committees will allow him to re-enter before the end of the tournament, is second place with 16.
The Elders of Silence.
Yeah, silence.
Silence. I concur.
And then Zach, same story. And Denizen are tied at 13. And then I'm in dead last with 12. But things are turning up for me. I think if you keep watching, if we can keep this program on the air, this train on the tracks, I'm gonna pull a big upset. Oh, I don't have any hot gossip. I told you everything in the beginning.
Yeah, I certainly don't have too
Let's
much.
kill the.
I'd be more.
Oh,
Here,
it
let me-
is, right.
you could kill the volume right there.
Well,
I'll take it off of here. We'll go design background there.
we're gonna be taking.
This aggressive. Here, I'll do the.
A short break in our coverage.
Take a quick 3 to 4. 4
Stay
to 5.
tuned. We'll put up a notification
We'll be
so
back
you
in
can,
the-
when we're back,
Make this look a little easier on the eyes.
so that you can get the little thing and hop in the room earlier in the
course.
night, make your plans. You don't have to. Oh, they're live. You know,
I gotta fix
it's
it.
a bit spotty. We can appreciate it.
Yeah, I made some.
But you know what?
errors.
It's a totally ragtag pirate team here at CHANKO. And we love everybody for coming in, and we love sumo. And no matter what happens, we're going to do our best to bring you the finest coverage that you can
Isn't to be
expect to
found
get
elsewhere.
for free. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And stay safe out there, CHANKO Knots.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you in a couple days.